I don't think about it. About you leaving me.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our kitchen makeover. We haven't done anything to this kitchen since we moved in 3 years ago, except change the cabinet hardware. This kitchen has been previously updated with modern stainless steel appliances, white cabinets, and funky quartz countertops. And of course, the same gray paint that was in every room when we moved in. We're slowly going room by room and changing the color and adding back some personality. And now it's the kitchen's turn. Let's talk about what we're keeping in the kitchen, because there's actually quite a few things that we're going to keep the same. We're not changing the structure of the kitchen at all, so we're not removing any walls or ripping out any cabinets, so the layout is going to stay the same. We're also keeping all the stainless steel appliances, including the sink. So I guess we're going for a mixed metal look, because we're going to be adding a lot of brass elements into this space too. And luckily the sink is undermount, so it's not quite as obvious that it's a stainless steel sink as if it was sitting on top of the counter. And we're also keeping our countertops. So I personally didn't like these countertops at all when we moved in, but over time they've grown on me. I just don't think that the other elements in the kitchen are doing the countertops any justice. So what we're gonna do with this makeover is really help the other elements mesh well with the countertops and make the countertops feel more like an intentional statement, more than just a statement, I guess. So now let's talk about what we are changing. We're going to be painting the cabinets and the walls. I just don't really love the stark white cabinets. I think they work better in a more modern home, but I think that our home needs a lot more character than what it has right now. And we're also going to be replacing the faucet with my dream faucet. I'm so excited for this element. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited. We're also going to be replacing the hardware, which I kind of felt bad about because this was something that we did when we moved in. And I felt kind of bad that like we haven't had it for that long, but then I remembered that we've lived here for 3 years. So this cabinet hardware has gotten 3 years of use, so I don't feel quite as bad. And also with this hardware, we used all the existing holes in the cabinets, but now since we're painting the cabinets, I can patch them and sand them so that we can drill new holes. Every single handle that we installed was crooked because I think that they use a template, but it was like a crooked template, or they did, I don't know how they did it, but either way, every single one is crooked. And it's bothered me since the day we moved in. I would have liked to have these handles in a different position anyway, but because we just weren't gonna patch the holes at the time, I just had to deal with what we had, which is fine. But we're gonna be redoing that now and getting exactly what I actually want. We're also gonna be getting a new rug from Ruggable, and it's actually gonna fit the space a lot better than the rug that we have here right now, which was just like one that I bought for the entryway, wasn't the right size there, so we moved it here just for the time being. And then finally we'll be installing the really cool curved shelves that I built for this space, which is gonna add functionality and storage, but will also look really nice, and we can add some more styling elements to it also. So let's talk about design plans. I found this inspiration photo that shows a similar vibe to what I'm going for. We'll be painting the walls Creamy by Sherwin-Williams and painting the cabinets Canvas Tan by Sherwin-Williams. Here's my dream faucet that I mentioned before. It is unlacquered brass and it has some ornate details but is still a modern shape overall. The handles on this faucet are going to work so much better in this kitchen because our current faucet is the perfect height to splash water on the window trim every time we turn it off. We'll be replacing the current hardware with unlacquered brass hardware to match the new faucet. Here is the rug we're getting. It's the perfect warm pop of color to add to this space, and it's the proper size to sit in front of the sink. We're keeping our current countertops, which looks really great with these new colors and the unlacquered brass, and then our curved shelves are stained in Jacobean, which is a dark, rich wood tone, which is going to balance out all the light elements in the space. This other color is for the future when we make over our entryway. I want to repaint the shiplap with Sommelier by Sherwin-Williams, and I think I'm going to paint the exterior door in Canvas Tan to match the cabinets. So let's get started with making over this kitchen. I'm going to remove all the cabinet and drawer hardware before we can get to cleaning, and then I'm going to clean the walls and the cabinets really well before we can move on to the next step, which is going to be priming. And then once I'm done with the cleaning, I'm going to take all the cabinet doors and the drawer fronts out to the garage, and then we're going to fill all the holes from the current hardware so that we can drill new holes later on for the new hardware. So while I'm waiting for the wood filler to dry on the cabinets and the drawers, I'm going to come back inside and start priming the cabinet boxes. So it's kind of like the not very fun stage right now. I just need to get past this point so that we can do all the fun stuff that's actually going to start transforming the room. Right now it's going to kind of make everything in shambles. We're going to paint white cabinets with white primer, so it's really not going to make it look any different. But then we can get to the fun stuff where we're like actually painting walls a different color, painting the cabinets a different color, And then it'll slowly but surely start to feel like a new, fresh room. Yesterday I was working on the kitchen from 9 a.m. until around 6 p.m. So we got everything done on the to-do list for yesterday, except for priming the cabinet doors and the drawer fronts. We did prime the frames already. My dad ended up helping with painting the walls. So he did about 99% of the walls for me. I only did like this tiny section, so it was really, really helpful. I initially only asked him to do like the cutting in around the ceiling because I'm not very good at that. But he's like, well, let me just do the whole thing. I'd rather just do it all. And I'm like, okay, well, that actually helps me a lot. So game plan for today, we need to prime the cabinet doors, prime the drawer fronts, then we can paint the cabinet frames and the doors and drawer fronts with canvas tan. It's gonna be another busy day, but honestly, after today, the kitchen's gonna be like 99% transformed, and it's not gonna look such a mess, because right now we have like open cabinets, which is obviously not very satisfying to see. It has to get worse before it gets better, but it's about to get better. So we got a busy, busy day ahead of us. So let's get started. So there's a lot of prep work that went into these cabinets. And so now we're ready to prime the first side of the cabinets. I'm painting both sides of the cabinets. So I'm starting with the inside. I already labeled the cabinet boxes with their corresponding cabinet, 1 through however many I have. And so I have a little piece of painter's tape on the front of every cabinet. And once I'm ready to paint the other side, I'm gonna switch it to the other side so that way we don't lose track of what number each cabinet is. I wiped everything down with a wiping cloth. Everything's nice and smooth and ready for primer. Let's start priming these cabinets. I'm so excited for this next step. We're finally painting the cabinets with the color Canvas Tan. The color Creamy on the walls has really brightened up the room. We're gonna bring this warm tone back into the room through the cabinet color. And I'm very excited to try this. I think it's gonna look awesome with the countertops, with the color on the walls, and just be the perfect little pop. It's gonna look. Oh, I just started the dishwasher. Let's start painting Canvas Tan.
4 feet on the stripes in the Alabama highway. Out there in
Whoops. Fell into the garbage. I fell backwards onto the thing that opens up the garbage can.
out there in the open, just a wishing and a hoping. I could smell the pines when I let you in the doorway. Took the seat next to mine like you've been there before.
So I finished all the cabinet frames, the bottoms, the tops, and the little pantry over here. My fiance helped me finish this part that I wasn't able to reach. Now I can tell a difference, but I feel like the real difference is gonna start showing once we get the doors on here. I don't know if you can really see, but it definitely needs one more coat. Right now it's a little streaky still. So now that we're done with all the frames, let's go outside in the garage so we can paint Canvas Tan on the cabinets.
That rain, that rain, that rain, that rain, she's coming. I was born to learn how to hold the line, and I was born to march from the beginning to the end of my life. And I'll learn to kill, I'll learn to fight, I'll learn to die for another time. That I ain't seen yet.
So we still need to paint our window trim. I'm just gonna wait till our new faucet is installed so that we don't keep dripping water on our freshly painted window trim. We'll just keep dripping it on our chipped window trim. We also need to paint the baseboards and the door trim, which we can do at any point. I'm just kind of wanting to take a break from painting, obviously. There was a lot of painting that was done the last couple days. I'm ready to just take a break from it for a moment. What we are going to do right now is install the new hardware on our cabinets and drawers. This is what we're using for our hardware. They are unlacquered brass to match the faucet. We're going to be using the knobs for everything except for our pantry. And then for our pantry, I have 2 larger handles. I thought that that would make a bigger impact than the knobs on such a large door. Luckily, the drawers have the original holes, so all I have to do is install the knobs. As for all the cabinets, I had to fill all the crooked holes so that we could just start fresh and make sure that they're all perfect and even. And I also got this template to make sure that when we drill the new holes in the cabinet hardware, they're all going to be the same. Okay, change of plans. This bolt is actually larger than the hole that was originally here, so we are going to have to re-drill these a little bit, but just widen the hole that's already here. Took one day off from painting. Like I said, I needed a break and I'm ready to get back into it now. Let's paint all of the baseboards and the door trim in canvas tan. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and do all the touch-ups on the cabinets that need to be done. There's just a couple spots that got a little scuffed when we brought them inside. Once we painted the walls cream, they kind of clash with the bright white baseboards now. So I feel like painting them in canvas tan will warm it up, tie it back in with the cabinets, and make the space feel more finished. I'm sitting here at my desk working. Every time I glance over at the kitchen, I just get so excited with how cute the view is now. So let me show you my view. Do you think I should paint this trim green on this side since I painted it canvas tan on the other side? Let me know. Or do you think keeping it white looks good? Either way, look at it, it's so cute. So I didn't paint this door or the trim yet, and that's because I'm kind of unsure of what color to paint it. So I definitely need your help here. So let me know in the comments, should I A, paint it canvas tan like the cabinets and the rest of the trim? B, paint it in the color creamy but use a higher gloss than I used on the wall? Or C, should I paint it the same color that we're going to be painting the shiplap, which is Sommelier? Let me know what you think because I really need help making this decision. I also am wondering with this casing, should I go all the way and paint this whole inside of the casing in canvas tan as well? Maybe on the other side paint it dry thyme, which we have in the living room. If I paint this door in the color Sommelier, I would also paint this side of the wall in Sommelier. Then all the shiplap would be Sommelier. So this entire corner of the room would be that pop of Sommelier. If I paint it in canvas tan or creamy, I would leave this wall right here in the color that it is right now, which is creamy. That's where I'm like struggling right now. But other than that, I think everything's coming together really well. So the next step, we're kind of just waiting on the plumber at this point. Once we get the plumber in here, we can install the faucet, we can then paint the window trim, and then do the little final touches. It's really coming together and I'm loving the way it looks. I know that that faucet and the window trim being painted is gonna make such a big impact. While we're waiting, why don't I go ahead and show you the faucet? So the package with the faucet has arrived. I'm so excited to open this. We're not installing this ourselves. We're gonna hire somebody to do it for us, but let's go ahead and open this. I'm so excited. Okay, so everything's kind of wrapped up. I do just wanna, do I wanna show everything? Oh, I really wanna look at it. I'm gonna unwrap it. Oh my goodness, this is very well wrapped. Oh, I just got a glimpse of it. Ooh, I think that's good enough for the unwrapping. Oh my god. I literally can't believe that this is gonna be our faucet. Like I mentioned before, the faucet is unlacquered brass, which means it will naturally patina over time. This is how tall it's gonna be once it's assembled, and it has this beautiful sprayer to go along with it. And these pieces will be on the bottom of the faucet and sit on top of the counter. So before our plumber comes to install our beautiful new faucet, I realized that we're going to have to modify our window trim just a little bit because of the height of this faucet. So the height of this faucet, where the handles are to turn on the water, is just about the same height as the window trim. And so when I kind of lined it up with where it would be, like it's literally going to be touching it. So it's going to be very difficult to turn it if it sticks out as much as it's sticking out right now. So my idea is to trim an inch off of the entire length of the window trim, and that way it'll be slightly farther back, so there'll be plenty of room for us to turn the faucet on and off. I'm going to start by drawing out a straight line to mark where I'm going to cut the window trim, and then I'm going to take my multi-tool and just trim over and over and over and over. I think this is going to be the best way to make a straight cut. We can sand it, and then we'll be ready to prime and paint it, and then the faucet will sit very nicely without the window trim impeding on our ability to use the faucet. This is a big mistake. Okay, it's working. It'll work. First of all, look at the shelves that I made. We finally installed them. If you missed my last video, make sure you go and watch that if you want to see how I made these custom curved shelves from scratch. We're definitely not done styling them, obviously. Like the top shelf isn't even styled at all. I have to do a little bit of thrifting, but that's not what we're focusing on today. Today, our plumber is actually coming by to install our brand new faucet. I'm so excited to see this faucet in this space. I think it's gonna make such an impact. It's gonna make the kitchen feel more high-end and just really tie it in with the rest of the new design. Look how amazing the faucet looks. It's even better than I expected. Now that that's done, we can finally paint the window trim. I was originally going to paint it in canvas tan to match the cabinets, but my fiance actually had another idea when he was looking at the mood board. He thought that we were going to be painting it Sommelier, which is the color that I had for the shiplap. And so I was like, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. I still wasn't like sold. I'm like, well, let's see what everything looks like when we bring the cabinets in. And we brought the cabinets in, and I knew instantly which color I wanted to go for, which is Sommelier. I really think the pop of color is going to look really good, especially behind the new faucet. And also, I always had a piece of greenery draped around the window trim because I just thought it looked really plain before. So if we painted it canvas tan, I think it would still look really plain, but if we do Sommelier, it's going to give that same effect that I was trying to go for with the greenery around the window trim in the first place. So the pop of color with the Sommelier just makes sense, and I almost can't believe I didn't think of it myself. But anyway, I'm going to go put some paint clothes on so we can get to cleaning the window trim, priming the window trim, and finally painting it in Sommelier.
I'm used to give all I have. I'm used to get nothing back. Wherever I go, it's the same. There's no excuses, no one to blame. Sometimes I can understand how it can be so hard to stay out of pain. But with you, everything has changed, even though.
So after the first coat of Sommelier on the window trim, I started to come to the conclusion that I am leaning more towards painting Sommelier on this other door over here that I haven't painted yet. So that way, this entire corner of the room will be Sommelier, tying it back in with the window trim. Otherwise, there's only going to be a small portion of this wall, which is the shiplap, painted Sommelier, and then the window trim painted Sommelier, and I feel like that's not enough Sommelier. I still want to hear from you. What do you think? Should I paint the door canvas tan, creamy, or Sommelier? I just feel like right now I'm starting to lean more towards Sommelier. The first coat's obviously a little streaky, so I have to do a second coat. It's gonna really finish it off. I went thrift shopping yesterday so I could get more stuff to decorate these shelves with. I also gathered some things from around the house that I already have that I can add to the shelf as well. Let's go ahead and style these shelves with all my thrifted finds so I can go ahead and finish all the rest of the finishing touches in this kitchen. Let me remind you how this kitchen looked before. And here is the kitchen now. So happy with the way that this kitchen has turned out. I love the cabinet color. I love all the unlacquered brass. I am so happy with the shelves. I know that it's kind of subtle from where we started, but like I really do think it added more character to this house. Although there's still some things that I'm like a little unhappy with, like the stainless steel appliances. I wish that I could change those. I know there's ways that you can like paint stainless steel, but I don't want to do that. Eventually, we do want to redo this kitchen altogether, although that will be several years down the road. In my dream, of course, I would want them to either be cream. I would take all black even. I just think that would look slightly nicer than the stainless steel. And then the other thing is like on top of the fridge, it still is not organized and it looks really bad, but I do think we added some functionality with the curved shelves. I think we added some personality and character with the cabinet color and the unlacquered brass features. I'm so excited to redo the entryway area now to really tie that in with this space. It's all gonna be really cohesive once we finish that space. I think it's gonna make the kitchen shine even more than it does already. Let me know what you think of the kitchen, and also let me know what room makeover you wanna see next from me. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
I don't think about it. About you